Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this ASUS ROG Zephyrus G16. Alright, so this is having thermal issues. Alright, so we're going to be basically replacing the, I believe it has liquid metal. We're going to replace that with PTM7950. And whatever pads we're going to be upgrading most likely with the thermal Grizzly Putty Pro stuff. Okay, so the full model number of this is, or the model number, GU605M. Full model number is GU605MY-G16.U94090. Okay, so we're going to be using, it looks like probably a T5 or T6 screwdriver. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's try the T6 first. And yeah, okay, so we're going to be using a T6 or Torque 6 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. There are these little rubber feet. The customer told me they did open this up already and attempt to work on it, so let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, again, we're using a T6, Torque 6 screwdriver. You want to keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Okay, so we have 4 going along the back here, 3 in the middle, and then 4 along the front. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove all these screws. Again, keep them all in order. If this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. Same profile picture, but zoomed in because it's a close look at things. Currently, those videos are on this channel as well, but eventually the newer videos I'm only going to be posting there. So if you like those videos or you're just trying to help me out, yeah, subscribe to that channel. And yeah, anyways, we'll continue removing all these screws. I don't know if the customer mixed any of the screws up, but so far these two and then these two are longer than the rest. So yeah, and then the ones in the front are shorter. So hopefully the customer didn't mix them all up and that's correct. Normally I would think all the ones in the back should be longer, but I don't know. Again, I didn't open this computer first. They opened it already, so I don't know if they mixed things up. And if they did, there's a chance that things could be damaged. Sometimes it can push out and make little dimples in the case, so I don't know. I didn't pay that close attention. I don't think there were any dimples. This goes into a speaker grill, so I don't know. But it seems flat, so hopefully that's correct. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and pull the bottom cover off. So let's see, sometimes you can pull from back here. Doesn't seem like it on this one. So we're most likely going to have to start from here. Okay, there is a little gap around the bottom cover and the palm rest here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fingernails in there and then push with my thumbs on the palm rest. And as you can see, that pops out the bottom cover. All right, you don't want to push on the touchpad, so make sure to go over to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, and as you can see, it already popped up most of the cover here. We're going to go towards the back now, just wiggling this. Okay, it's being a little bit tricky. Okay, it looks like you just pull it up more and it comes out. So here is the inside of the bottom cover. They did say they attempted to dust it out, but there's not really much dust here. So most likely the main thing is going to be the thermal paste. Okay, this design seems to have the annoying screen design of most of these ASUS ROG Zephyrus that I've been seeing. So anyways, here's the inside of that. Let's go ahead now and disconnect the battery, if we can find where the connector is with all this stupid adhesive tapey stuff they put here. Okay, we're gonna have to peel some of this stuff up, I think, or lift it out of the way at least. Okay, there's all this adhesive holding it down, so it's kind of annoying. Alright, so anyways, I think I'm gonna peel this thing off. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and peel this, slowly work our way over. Be careful with the parts where it's kind of sharp corners, because if you just pull it up, there's a good chance you can actually tear it there. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and continue peeling this out. Okay, Very annoying how they put all this adhesive on here. Alright, so anyways, we're just going to continue working to peel the adhesive off. I'm trying to hold down the little SSD coating that they put on here so that I can peel this off. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and set this aside. Technically that piece isn't needed, but we'll put it back anyways just because they put it in there. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. Okay, the battery, it has this little metal tab that you can just slide out of the way, so just push it back like that. Okay, once you do that, you can go ahead and go under here and lift this out just like this. Once you do that, it's always a good idea to open up the laptop and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. Alright, some people ask me if this is a required step. If you don't want to take 15 seconds to make sure your computer has a lot less risk of damaging itself, then I don't recommend you even open your computer to work on it in the first place, okay? So just take the 15 seconds, alright? Make sure you disconnect the battery first and drain any residual power, okay? This makes it, again, a lot safer to work on. Okay, so anyways, the customer told me that they clean the fans, but they weren't able to clean where the vent is. Honestly, it doesn't look like there's much there for dust or anything to get trapped under, so most likely we don't need to do anything with that. I'm just going to go over the little components in here, but we're not going to pull everything out, okay, unless it's related to fixing the thermal paste. Battery model number is right there, C41N2303. So if you need a replacement battery, that's what you need. It looks like there's a screw here. Oops, sorry, you can't even see. So it looks like there's a screw there, screw here, and screw here. Once you do that, you should be able to lift it out. Speakers also are just held in with these little rubber, the yellow things that you can just pull the speakers up. There's a wire that goes underneath. It looks like the speakers connect right here. To remove that, you grab by the wings and wiggle it as you pull. It should come out, okay? So this is the main, it says woofer, and then there's a tweeter connection here, which likely goes underneath. Okay. This is the SSD. It's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. If you're not sure how to remove these, one screw pops up slightly, you can pull it out. Okay. There's another slot for another M.2 SSD here. Wireless card is here. The antennas come out by going from the tail and just pulling straight up. And I don't really see much else under here to work on. The screen cables are up here. Okay. These, after you move this metal plate, you should be able to just pop them up. Make sure you do the battery power drain before messing with those, okay? You got this connector, it says TP, so that should be the touchpad or trackpad connector. You got the keyboard connector here, keyboard backlight connector here. There are flip latches, so this one, the flip latch is on this side, this one, the flip latch is on this side. On the keyboard backlight, flip latch is on this side. Alright, you got the one fan connector here, other fan connector there. And yeah, I think that's all there is to show on here. So anyways, let's go ahead and see about getting this out. You can see they're labeled. We're going to switch to a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to undo these screws. I'm just going to do a few times here and then go over instead of doing it all at once, because if you do it all at once, it's going to just pull up one side of the heatsink and you don't want that, okay? So I'm just going to go from screw to screw. They are numbered. The numbers are to screw it down. When you're taking it out, don't worry as much about the number, but it does help a little bit with helping it come up evenly, but not as required, as long as you're slowly doing it like I'm doing, okay, like a little bit at a time on each screw. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna have to pull up the wireless card. We might. Oh, do these screws just come out all the way? Okay, so if they come out all the way, I don't think they're supposed to come up all the way. Interesting. Why did this one come out? There's supposed to be usually there's a little washer or something that helps hold this in place, but it looks like this one just popped out. So that's kind of strange. Okay, and I think to make this easier to get out, we're probably going to have to take this, the fans out. So let's go ahead and take the fans out, okay? Again, keep all the screws in order. And we're also going to have to disconnect the fan. So let's also not really disconnect the wireless antennas, but we're going to take the wireless card out, okay? The reason why I don't disconnect the antennas is because sometimes the solder for that isn't too good. So unless I have to, I'm not going to take those antennas out. So we'll lift this up just like the SSD would, and then you just wiggle to pull that out, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and work this under, over, under, okay? Get the wires out from these routings. This one goes under as well. Make sure you don't accidentally knock this little foam pad thing off. Not that it's going to cause any problems. Oh, Oreo, shh. Not that it's going to cause any issues if you accidentally knock that thing off. But yeah, Oreo hears some people outside, so he's barking. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue removing these. Okay, now that that's out of the way. Oh, there's another little ribbon cable here. Most likely for the power button. Okay, let's go ahead and get the other screw here out. Okay, so we got all of that out. Let's see here. Oh. Okay, and then the connector here, usually it's going to be kind of difficult to just pull this out. You want to kind of wiggle it. I don't like really wiggling it there because the wires are so small and fragile. So what I do is I use these small needle nose pliers and I kind of wiggle it a little and then make sure I grip it again, wiggle, grip it again, wiggle, okay? And we'll just keep doing this until that connector comes out. It's kind of a long, slow process, okay? So you saw I keep accidentally slipping and grabbing the wire, so be careful with that. Also, you can also do it by kind of grabbing with your fingernails or something a little bit, but it is kind of small, so it's a little tricky to do it that way. So we're just, again, going to use the pliers here and just keep grabbing it and wiggling. Oh man, it's hard to make sure to grab without slipping it. Okay, maybe do it sideways like this. Come on, let go. There we go. Okay, so there's that fan connector out. Let's see if we can just pull the fan out now. Okay, and we can lift it. Oop. Okay, I was like, did I miss a screw? Lift it, and then we can slide it out from under there. Okay, you can see there's this foam stuff that kind of makes it a little difficult to pull out, but there we go. Okay, there's some dust trapped under there. We'll clean that. And inside, the fins themselves actually don't look too bad. So yeah, I doubt there's going to be an issue with the fins causing getting clogged by dust that's going to make it overheat. So we're going to continue on this side. Same thing, we'll remove the screws. Okay. Oreo, don't bark at the people outside. Okay, we'll get this screw out. And we'll get this one. There we go. Alright. Same thing, we're going to have to get this connector out. So again, just grab it like this. Kind of wiggle. Make sure that you're grabbing as close to the connector as possible. Slowly pulling. Okay. Just like that. Alright, fan connector is disconnected. We can lift the fan up. And same thing, there's some foam holding it, so we gotta lift up over here. I don't know if you can see. We're gonna lift up the heatsink area over here slightly and then wiggle that out. Okay, you want to be careful when you're lifting that foam up or this heatsink that you're not gonna bend it. Okay, just pull lightly. Okay, so there we go. Now we're gonna have to work on pulling this heatsink out. Alright. Alright. Give me a second. I'll be back. Alright, so let's go ahead and try and get this thing off. Again, usually it helps to kind of wiggle this. So what I do is I kind of just rotate it. Okay. And this helps separate the paste or whatever thermal pads that they're using underneath. Okay. It's still going to be a little tricky to separate this usually. Oh, actually, it's lifting the whole motherboard up. Okay, so that means we're going to probably have to go from this side because this side has screws. So we're going to slowly, carefully lift up. Okay, you can see it's lifting up and away. And I'm going to try and lift it straight, because if there's liquid metal, yeah, there is. Wow, okay, that does not look good. So we are going to have to do a lot of thermal pads and all of that replacement. I'm going to scrape all this. I wonder if I should leave the pink goop there, honestly. The thermal pads can be reused, but the liquid metal is always going to be a problem. So liquid metal is terrible stuff. I don't know whose idea it was to use that. Whoever told everyone that liquid metal is so great, I don't know, they need to be burning in some fiery pit somewhere, because liquid metal is not a good thing, okay? There's a very high risk it will damage your device, and it doesn't even help cool the stuff very well. And if it does it for a short amount of time, then it starts moving, shifting all over the place, and then it starts causing problems. So anyways, we're going to clean off the thermal paste here. I just got some paper towel here. We're just going to wipe this stuff off, okay? The thermal paste is fine, but once you lift this kind of stuff up, you have to redo it. So again, we're going to replace all of this with PTM7950. Works a lot better, okay? And it doesn't run the risk of destroying your device if it falls onto anything, okay? So I'm just working my way around, being very careful not to scrape any of those things off there, okay? And we're probably going to have to take this and hold it over a trash can or something so that we can get all this gunk, alright, to fall into the trash can instead of just falling all over the board. But before I do that, I'm going to have to clean off the liquid metal, because I don't want the liquid metal getting all over the place, okay? We're also going to have to reapply all of this. There's a lot of this thermal putty stuff, okay? It looks like the layer that actually sits on top is very thin. So I'm going to put less than I usually do, because usually I put quite a bit, and then, yeah, it always oozes out all over the place. Wait a minute, what is going on? That is really weird. Is that... Okay, this is upside down. So this goes like that. Why are only these two VRAM chips? Is this VRAM or regular RAM? This might be RAM because it's in the middle of the board. Oops, sorry, you can't even see what I'm talking about. Why are only two of them being covered with the paste here? That's so weird. Okay, so maybe what I should do to make this easier to paste this time, because usually what I do is I put the stuff on every one of these little chips, and that's kind of a pain. I'm wondering if it'll be easier if I actually put it directly onto this, so when I flip it over, it's already sticks on there. But then I'm pretty much filling these gaps that aren't usually with any paste here, so I don't know. Anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and clear this stuff off. So we're gonna need a bunch of Q-tips, and we're gonna need some isopropyl alcohol. Okay, so the liquid metal stuff, it helps if you have Q-tips with isopropyl alcohol. It kind of helps it stick a little bit better. Okay, let me zoom in on this so you can kind of see it better. All right, and we're gonna try and scrape this liquid metal stuff into a pile. Try and get it all to one spot. Okay, the isopropyl alcohol helps so that when we scrape it like this, it acts more like a squeegee instead of kind of just like a dry fabric that the liquid metal can kind of get past. Okay, so look at that. There's a lot here. Someone told me to basically use a solder pump to pull this stuff up, which it'll work for the big blobs, but for the other stuff, not so well. So we can go ahead and do that, all right? So we'll use the solder sucker here. Okay, and you see this big chunk here, we're just gonna suck that up. Okay. kind of works, okay? And we're going to go ahead and continue squeegeeing this stuff off. Okay, so I recently replaced the liquid metal on a framework laptop, and that customer told me the gaming temperatures dropped by 30 to 40 degrees. Hold on, let me see what Oreo's barking about. Alright, well, I just had him go outside so he can go bark at whoever's over there, I guess. Alright, so we're going to slowly keep scraping this stuff up. Okay, and you can see the liquid metal was actually eating into the CPU die. There's an area right in the center that's all eaten up. Oh, he's coming to the door over here to bark at him. Okay. So we're just going to squeegee all this into a pile here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and use the solder sucker again and see if we can pull that out. Okay. It gets out some. There's still going to be some left. We're going to have to use two Q-tips to help kind of roll it up. Okay, so I'm going to get another Q-tip, get some isopropyl alcohol on it. Okay, so there's a new one. Let's go ahead and try and squeegee anything in this gap out. Okay, we're getting more. And you want to be careful because you don't want it getting in any of the circuits over here. That will destroy the computer. One thing I forgot to do was to power it on before I started working on it to see, because sometimes some people will actually bring broken stuff and claim that when you work on it, it broke. Okay. It's pretty rare, but it happens. But I mean, hopefully it should be okay. Alright, anyways. We'll continue trying to push all this liquid metal to one spot here. Okay, it's actually going out. I need to be careful to keep it on top in this orangey brownish stuff. Okay, and then what I do is I kind of use two of them and I roll them like this to help pull it up. Okay, so just like this. And you can see it kind of pulled it up into there. I'm going to actually try and push it into the brownish orangey stuff. That way there's no groove for it to get caught in. And we'll kind of try and squeegee roll it up. Okay. Alright, so we got that. I'm going to cut the ends off of this, and then we're going to go ahead and use some fresh new ones to try and get those out. Okay. And get some more isopropyl alcohol and some fresh new ones. It will also help in this case to kind of fluff it a little bit like this for the last bit. Okay, and we're just going to put some isopropyl alcohol on these. Okay, let's try and squeegee it out a little bit more. There's still a bit stuck in there. Okay, you can see there's a little bit left. We can squeegee it by rolling it, and here you can see that, oh, there you can see that little dot. Alright, I think we got about as much as we could of the liquid metal. We're going to try and get it off the heatsink as well. Okay, so we'll set this aside here for now. Okay. And here we have the heatsink. Alright, so we're gonna now squeegee this. Oh, that's gonna be a pain. It's kind of all trapped in there. Okay, let's see if we can use the solder sucker to pull that out. I don't know, kind of. Alright. Roll this all together. Okay, quite a bit is coming out of this area here. That's good. Alright. Alright, and we're going to just go ahead and push it all into one pile here. can see where the metal got eaten up. It's pretty insane. I don't know whose idea it was to use liquid metal as a thermal paste. Very bad idea. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and suck that up. Okay, it's not quite coming all out, but there we go. It's a lot better. Oh no, the foam's getting peeled up a little bit. Okay, getting this. We'll roll it up, squeegee it up. There we go. All right, lots better. I'm going to use some paper towel with a isopropyl alcohol on it. Not that that's going to do much, but we're just going to kind of buff this a little bit. Okay, use a dry section. Okay, some of the foam is getting damaged, but yeah, it's really hard to work on this stuff to get it out without any of that foam getting messed up. Not that the foam will be needed after we clean it up. Okay, so yeah, there's not really much we can do about the stuff that's all stuck in the foam. It won't suction it out. So anyways, we'll use a little bit more paper towel again, clean that up, and then we'll clean off the paste and all the other stuff. We're gonna have to remember where all the paste is. Okay, get a little bit more isopropyl alcohol, clean that up again. Good. All right, so there we go. We're gonna go ahead now and clean up the other areas here. So we have this, and usually to get that out, I use the little plastic tool here. Okay, I'm gonna just use one of these scrapers, and we're gonna scrape this stuff out. Okay. Get all this gunk out. I'm just gonna actually flip it over into my trash can next to me. Okay, that's the easiest way, but I was trying to record it for you guys. Okay. Okay. All right. So you can see all these screws have these little plastic washers there holding it, but I think this one specific screw is different. You see, this one is silver, the rest are like this darker brownish color, so that's interesting. Except for number 5 and 6. Huh. Maybe not. I don't know. That's weird. So is this also supposed to have one of those plastic things? I didn't see one. Nope, I don't see one. Okay, so I don't know. That specific one doesn't have one of those little washers. We'll set that aside, okay? Let's go ahead and continue removing the gunk on here. We're gonna get some paper towel. We're gonna clean that up. Put a little isopropyl alcohol on it. And we're just gonna wipe that gray thermal paste away. Okay, just like that. You can see the stuff coming out. We'll dry it up a little bit. Okay, so I mean, this pink stuff already should be pretty good for thermal capacity, but if it's been overheating, I don't know, it might be bad. So we're gonna go ahead and replace it with some better stuff. This is Thermal Grizzly Putty Pro. This is expensive stuff. You can buy the smaller amount. I buy the giant tubs because I work on multiple computers. But yeah, this stuff is quite a bit of a pain to apply. Alright, so you'll see as I work on this, we're going to scrape all this old stuff off first. Okay. Alright. Also, don't worry about this getting scraped up or scratched a bit. It's already coated in like an oxidized layer anyway, so scraping it up actually will technically help with the thermal conductivity. You can see it's getting the shinier copper. Okay, so we're just going to clean that up. Okay, but you don't want to just like scratch the whole thing off with like sandpaper or something. Although that might actually give it better thermal conductivity, to be honest. Alright, anyways, we're going to go ahead and continue getting all this stuff off. Okay. And this stuff is like gummy. I think Thermal Grizzly does have a less thermally conductive version of their Thermal Grizzly Putty stuff, which is like blue, and I think they might have a pink version. There's different versions that I guess the whatever material they use, some are more expensive because of that, and then they conduct better not electricity, temperature, heat, whatever. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue scraping all this gunk off. Okay. But yeah, the layer here I feel is pretty thin, so I think I shouldn't put a crazy amount. I think usually I put probably way too much. So scrape all this stuff off. Alright, this stuff actually isn't too bad for cleaning off of the heatsink itself. Getting it off the board is going to be a bit of a different story, because this area is smooth, but on the board itself it's going to be those individual components that I'm going to have to scrape it off of. Okay, so keep that in mind. This isn't going to be an easy job if you're about to replace it. If you're about to redo the thermal paste, the liquid metal, I highly recommend getting good stuff to do it the first time, right? Because you're not going to want to have to do this again, right? And if you're wondering, no, you don't need to redo thermal paste every year or whatever. I don't know, some people are pretty insane that they redo it every year. Okay. Unless you have a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of time on your hands, I do not recommend doing this every year. Also, you increase the risk of damaging your computer, taking it apart so many times, so yeah, don't do that, alright? Anyways, we got most of the paste off. Let's go ahead and get some isopropyl alcohol and kind of clean it up a little bit more. Not that it's necessary. Again, the stuff that's there is already designed to help with the thermal conductivity, so cleaning it off, I mean, you're not really doing anything much, except for if you're using a better kind of thing that's more thermally conductive, then you can basically replace the old material with better stuff. So in that sense it will help, but it's not going to make like a huge difference. Okay, unless you're just leaving like the liquid metal, that's going to make a huge difference, because liquid metal is terrible. Okay, and you don't want to leave that stuff to combine with your other thermal material. Okay, look at all that stuff that came out. Okay, and use some more isopropyl alcohol. Do this again. Okay, clean it off again. Okay, there we go. Okay, we got this all cleaned up. Let's go ahead and now move on to the motherboard section. All this stuff we're gonna have to clean off. Okay. There's a lot of this stuff, so it's going to take a bit of time. And applying the new stuff is going to take even more time. So again, keep that in mind. This is very time consuming, but it's better to do it right the first time and not have to take it apart and do it again. Okay, I'm going to use the pokey part to be able to get in between. Okay, got all this gunk on the sides here, and there are components in between, so you can't just like scrape it all up. But again, it's not super important you get all of it out. This is all stuff designed to do the same thing, so it's not like not removing it is going to make it overheat. Okay. Okay, we'll leave that gunk that's in the middle. We're just gonna go here. Also, it helps afterwards. You can use a toothbrush. If you do that, again, be careful with the liquid metal area. I wouldn't brush that area because you don't want to accidentally dislodge some small bits of liquid metal and then get it into everything. There's this foam little thingy. Be careful with that. Okay. Okay. Getting all this pink gunk off. Okay, Get into these grooves. Okay, I know somebody's gonna be like, why don't you fast forward through all of that? Okay, if you don't want to watch this, you can go ahead and fast forward through, skip to the end just to see what I end up doing. So yeah, but I record the whole thing so that my customers can see the entire process, what goes on with all this. So yeah, it's a lot of work. Okay. Yeah, I think this is like the actual like RAM, not for the GPU, which is pretty weird that they actually put thermal paste on there, or thermal putty, sorry. Usually RAM, they don't put thermal putty on except for the video card RAM, this VRAM. Alright, after this I'm gonna take it outside, hold it over my trash can, and then I'm gonna use a toothbrush to try and get out any of this remaining stuff. It's not gonna be perfect, but it'll be quite a bit better, hopefully. And then we will continue with applying all the new putty, paste, and all of that, okay? Alright, that's probably about as much as I can get out this way. Oh, actually, there's a little bit more down here that I can't even see. Jeez, this is a lot. Okay. There needs to be a putty that you can just smush into it and then pull it back up to get this stuff out. That would be nice. Okay. Alright, I think that's about as much as I can do with just my hand like that. Okay. So now pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a toothbrush, kind of scrub all this again, hanging it over the edge of, over a trash can upside down, and then I'll be back. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, removing all that was a huge pain in the butt, and now we got little pink stuff everywhere. But yeah, we got out what we could. Alright, let's go ahead and apply the PTM7950. Okay, I have this from Linus Tech Tips. Alright, it's expensive. You don't need to buy this specific one. You can buy like smaller sheets, but for the price, because I need it a lot, because I'm going to be doing this very often, I bought this big sheet. Okay, so this kind of stuff, it does smush super thin. So before I was applying it around the entire die, but you actually don't need to do that. You actually don't want to do that because it'll just ooze all out and you'll waste all of it. I mean, if you're just doing it once, then I guess it's not a big deal. You can go ahead and do that, but for me, that's like a huge waste. So here you can see, I can use this piece. Even doing this, it's going to be kind of more than enough. But I mean, we'll just do that. All right. Okay, so here you can see I'll leave about 1 millimeter or 2 around each edge here. Okay, and then we're gonna go up, and so I'm trying to line it up, and I'm gonna mark it here because that's where I'm gonna cut it. Okay. All right, and it's a good idea to mark both sides here so that when you go ahead and put that, you remember to clean it up, to remove both sides of the film. Okay, you don't want to just leave that plastic on there because then that defeats the purpose of the stuff. All right, I'm going to clean it again one more time, just with some isopropyl alcohol. Okay, and then we'll use the dry side of the paper towel to dry it off and try and get the lint out of the way. Okay. All right, so there we go. We marked it up. We're gonna cut this thing out. All right. Just like that. And cut this rectangle out. Okay, so hopefully that should be good. Okay, so now that we cut this rectangle out, I'm just going to use some tweezers here to peel one side away. Okay. So go ahead and get in between the two layers. Can be a little tricky. Okay, and you can see it actually peeled up this layer, so we're going to go under there. Doesn't matter which side you peel up first, as long as you peel up one side, and then we'll grab this, okay, and we'll peel this off. Then we're gonna see approximately the size here, okay, try and get it centered, and then we're gonna go ahead and stick it down. So try and line this up the best you can. And as mentioned, it will squeeze super thin. So if it's not covering the whole thing, that's fine, okay? Just like that. All right, and then we'll push this down, just like that. All right, and when the heatsink smushes on top, it will smear that all out and it will spread out. So again, don't worry about it not completely covering 100% of the thing. If you want to be 100% sure and you haven't really done this much, you can just cover the whole chip and have all that extra oozed out, wasted. It's not like it's going to really cause any issues. The stuff isn't conductive, so you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, it will just be a waste. All right, I can actually see some of the liquid metal kind of oozing out here. So I'm going to get some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to try and push the outer edges here, okay, to see if I can get out more of that stuff from here out. Okay, we're going to go over here and wipe that up. All right, we got some of that out. Now I'm just going to wipe this down. Okay, and then dry it up. And again, I don't want to use air to blow on this because it can push some of the liquid metal out. Actually, you can see when I'm using this dry, it's pushing some of the liquid metal out. So maybe I should use the dry one to help get some of the liquid metal out a little bit more. Okay, you can see it's kind of getting it out. I'm gonna use a little more isopropyl alcohol, and then we'll wipe that up. Here we go. We don't want the liquid metal going out over the CPU. Okay, there we go. You can already see how bad it damaged itself. Pretty bad stuff. I don't know whose idea it was to use this. It's not a good idea. Okay. Oh man, you see that? Every time I try and wipe it down, more liquid metal oozes out of there. So we're gonna try and wipe this again on the black or the orangey brownish layer. Try and clean that stuff away. Keep it from going out of the edges. Okay, good enough. We're gonna leave that now because we don't want to keep moving it around and then it's gonna keep oozing out more. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and now get this on there. So if I put it there, that will be long enough as well. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get the thermal pad on there. And we're gonna have it, again, same thing. Okay. So this. That, and then we'll cut this here. Okay. Again, mark that up. All right, let's go ahead and cut this out. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and cut this out. All right, same thing. We can go ahead and take this and just put it on there just to see approximately how it would sit. You can see we're gonna leave about 1 millimeter around each area. I should probably zoom in so you can see this better. Okay. All right, and this stuff. You can see there's little specks there. We want to be careful. That's liquid metal, I think. Okay, so we're gonna now go ahead and peel this up. Okay, so usually what I do is I lift one edge, and then after I do that, I can grab with the tweezers and do that. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and line this up. I just noticed there's like, the CPU has lines in it. If you notice that, can you see that? It's like separate little dies. So there's like multiple dies on this one CPU. That's interesting. Okay. Again, we're gonna, oh no, I already stuck it down. It's too late now. All right, so let's go ahead and try to get that lined up. Here we go. You see how it had a little hole there, and then I just rubbed it and then it fills the gap. So basically when it smushes down, it's gonna do the same thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna try and re-emerge those portion that I accidentally lifted up too early because I placed it wrong and then it smushed it out. Okay, but as it gets the pressure from the heatsink, it will actually smear it completely thin, and then it will spread it to where it covers the entire thing. So yeah, that's one really nice thing I like about PTM7950. It's a lot easier to get full coverage, and if you don't know what you're doing, again, you can get full coverage just by completely covering the whole thing and just wasting all that extra paste. Alright, anyways, there we go. Now we got to put the putty, which is actually quite a huge pain to do. Alright. Mainly because when we go to put the putty down, it doesn't like to stick. So we're going to get this stuff. Okay. I'm going to use a glove here. Alright. And usually I just reuse the same glove because it has the stuff already on it, so it's like pre-contaminated kind of thing. Okay. It already has the putty, so I'm not going to be wasting it every time I put new gloves. So here we go. I always turn the glove inside out and store it like that. Okay, and another thing, I like to use this thing to help guide the putty. Okay. Alright, I'm going to clean this off. And the putty takes a long time to apply because I got to get it properly on everything here. Okay. So it doesn't really take too much for this unless the thermal pads that they had before are really thick. Okay. So in this case, it was super thin, the amount that they had there. So actually this is quite a bit. I'm going to have to use like small amounts like this. And even that's kind of a lot. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and guide this. And then just poke it on top. And I'll adjust how much there is later. For now, we're just going to plop it on there. And hopefully as it sits there, it will kind of stick to the surface. That's what it kind of helps a little bit, letting it sit for a while. Okay, that's actually a huge chunk. I'm gonna have to cut that. Okay. And we're gonna need that. Hopefully you guys can see everything that's going on here. Okay. Get a piece of chunk on there. It's gonna be really hard to make it stick on this kind of stuff because the surface is like glossy. So it's gonna stick to the glove. There we go. Come on, let go. Okay. And we're just gonna do this for every little piece, okay? Again, if you don't want to see this and you're just wanting to see the final results, go ahead and skip forward. Okay, I'm not gonna chop it out of the video. So if you want, you can go ahead and skip ahead. And you don't have to watch the parts you don't want to watch, okay? Alright, and I'm just going to stick these down onto all these areas here. Alright, and we're just going to slowly continue do this to every little piece, and then after that I'm going to mush it around to get it to line up properly. Okay, it comes with little tools to kind of help mush it around, but I don't know, I feel they don't work too well for this. Okay, that's actually way too much, but I'll adjust it as I go. Okay. All right, we'll continue going. adjust how much later. Yeah, that's a lot. But again, we'll adjust it after, because we kind of just want it to get started sticking down. That way we can manipulate it without it flying all over the place, okay? You see how it's just lifting off so easily right now? Okay. Stay there, please. Come on. Okay, and some people ask, can they just put the PTM7950 where the putty and paste stuff, or the putty is? No, I would not put PTM7950 where the putty is. I mean, in this case, it might smush thin enough, but I would not recommend it. Also, when PTM7950 cools down, it turns super solid. So if you did that, you're never going to be able to pull the heatsink back off again. You're probably going to rip all these components off. So yeah, I do not recommend doing that. Okay. All right, so we got all of that. Let's go ahead and work on over to here. These things are super tiny, okay? On camera, it doesn't look that small, but the amount of this putty stuff you're gonna need is very little for a lot of these pieces. This is actually quite a bit. That's way too much. Probably cut it in half and just plop it over here. And that's still way too much. Okay. Well, we'll work on it once it settles a bit. Okay. And I have to remember, okay, so there was nothing on these pieces, but there was some on this for whatever reason. Should I put it back on there? It's kind of weird that they had it that way. All right, I don't know. I'll put it there, but it was only like in the central portion of it, so it was kind of weird. Yeah, that's way too much of it that I'm putting here. Okay. All right, the hardest part will be these little things here, because it's really hard to get the putty to stick to that. Stay there, please. Okay, well, we'll see. Yeah, that's way too much. Oreo. See how difficult it is to get this to stay. Come on, there we go. Okay. Stay on there. That's way too much. I mean, I'll fix them all later, but come on, let go. There we go. All right. What else we got? We got those. Okay, I think we just got the area down here now. These are bigger, but also don't want to put way too much. It's way too much. We'll figure it out after. Okay, this heatsink, the way they had it, when I pulled it up, it looked like the layer was at most 1 millimeter, but I'm pretty sure it's even thinner than that. So they actually had good tolerances within the CPU and these pieces. Too big. Alright, we're gonna need the stuff on all these little black chips as well, but since I got so much of it already on, let's go ahead and start the process of kind of evening it out. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move it up to here. I'm gonna start with these first. Okay, so I'm gonna use the pokey end and just kind of poke it around on top to kind of even it out. A small enough amount should be okay. My head gets in the way. I'm sorry, I can't tell because I'm focusing on what I'm doing and not really looking at what I'm recording. Okay, that seems to be good. Alright, looks good. I've been doing this for quite some time, so if you're wondering how I kind of figure out how much I need, yeah, it's because I've been doing this so much, so I kind of get a good idea. Okay, I'm taking out this excess. This one might need that. No. Okay. These might need more. I didn't put too much on this. But definitely this has way too much. Oh, hopefully you can see what's going on. Okay, this is still gonna need more. These are, I didn't put that much on the VRAMs. I'm gonna definitely need more for those. Let me get a little more. So the tool it comes with is like this, and it's more for like, you can just pat it more flat like that. But it's not really necessary because when you go to put the heatsink on top, it's gonna just smush it anyways. But it lets you more easily able to tell how even the application is. Oreo, stop scratching your bed. What are you doing? There's nothing in there. Okay, can pat that one down as well. Get an idea. We're gonna need more for this one. good. Alright, you can also pat these, although it's kind of harder because they're trapped. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next ones. Okay, we got the sides now here. These have way more. It should be more than enough. Okay, looks good. Okay, looks good. This heatsink, because it has no gaps around, I won't be able to see if it oozes out and how much oozed out, but from looking at how much they originally put, this should be more than enough. It should be good. Okay. And because this stuff doesn't conduct electricity, you don't have to worry about putting too much other than it costing more because you're wasting material. Okay, that looks good. That up there. Okay, I can't tell from the camera. It looks like I have to pull it up here a bit more. Oh, no, it's too much. Okay, I think that's good. All right. Let's go ahead and flatten this down now. This one feels like it's gonna need more. Actually, yeah, it's gonna need a little bit more. We're getting there. A little bit more on there. This gunk that's stuck to the glove. Okay. Okay. Looks good. All right, I'm gonna put the wireless card in here so it's not moving around, and we're gonna go ahead and work on this portion up here. Okay. This one, it's kind of small, so it's really hard to get it all on there, so I'm just gonna move it around a little and not worry about it too much being the right shape. Need a little bit more. Oh no, it's coming back up on its own. Yeah, this is gonna be tough to make it stay on there. I might have to just leave it as a blob and then let the heatsink itself push it into place, just because of how hard it is to make it stay on these tiny pieces. Here we go. It's gonna definitely need more as well. This one's gonna be a pain, isn't it? I'm gonna need a little more. Oh, that's actually a lot more. Okay, that's working. Okay, let me warm it up a tiny bit and add a little more. Because this stuff transfers heat so well, Just rolling it in your fingers a little bit warms it up and softens it. And then kind of just smush it down into there. Okay, there we go. Come on, stay on there. Why is this one being so difficult? Okay. There we go. This one's going to need a little more. It's actually quite a bit more. Okay. Okay. Add this bit to this one as well. We're getting there. We're getting there. I know it's a very long process. Put this excess up here. There we go. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do these square things. That's way more. I'm going to take some and put it to this one that doesn't have as much. Alright, it's pretty good. We'll go ahead and pat, 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 pat. Again, the heatsink is going to smush it all down, so you don't really need to do this. Okay, this one, these two pieces, I'm not too sure what to do about it because the amount of stuff that's going to go actually make contact is like not even half. So maybe this one. Okay, this one doesn't even make full contact with the thermal thing because it just has like a little bar that goes across. So I'm going to kind of roll it, stick it on there, just kind of mush it around. Somebody's getting shot or something out there, jeez. Oreo, stop. Okay, basically that. Honestly, I don't see how putting thermal paste like this helps because then you get really bad hot spots, but I mean, that's how it was. So we're just going to put it like that. Okay, put a bit more. That's actually quite a bit more. Okay, pretty sure even that's a bit much. So you can see it makes contact with the thing here. So width-wise, that should be good. Maybe I need this a little bit more. Put a little bit more to widen it. Okay, should be good. All right, now we got these little pieces, and then we got to figure out the rest of those tiny things down there. It's going to be a pain. But we're getting there. Okay, that's definitely too much. This one definitely has too much. Oops. come on, let go. Okay, pull that. This one's so much of a pain. Come on, stick. Alright, there we go. Another blob down there. Okay. We're getting there. It's a pain, but we're getting there. Okay. This one has way too much as well. Stay there. It's way too much. Okay, we're getting there. We're almost there. This little guy, come on, stay. Don't come out. That's good. Oh no. No, stay on there, please. No, come back. No, stay. It's, oh my god. I made both of them come off. No, stay on there. Stay on there, please. Okay, push that. Oh no, I smushed it. to do that. Sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing. I accidentally rested my finger on this and then it smushed it all out. Dang it. I was almost done. Okay. Okay. Now I gotta be careful doing this. It's super tiny. Need a little bit more. Okay. Yeah. It's actually a lot more than I needed. All those little boops. Getting there, we're getting there. See how much work it is to paste this kind of stuff. I don't know how the factories, I think they just put a huge blob or something, or they have some pad when they have one layout that they're just making a whole bunch of. I don't know. Okay. Uh-oh. People are home and Oreo's barking. That took me. Plug this down. Tiny bit more. Tiny bit. Okay. That might even be too much. Hold up. Let's go ahead and continue. It's so difficult to get all of this stuff in there. Oh. The customer might be messaging me. Get off. Okay. We're getting there, okay? Come on, stick. Stop staying attached to the pokey thing. Okay, go, stay. Put a little more. Okay, oh, we're getting there. Come on. Alright. Get another blob. That's way too big of a blob. So we'll just cut a piece of it. Then we'll blob it onto there. And that's probably still too much. Get on there. Okay. Poke it, poke it, poke it, poke it. Come on, stay. Stay. It's hard to make this thing stay on there. Come on. stuck on this one then. Come on, let go. Won't stay. Okay, let me warm up some of this and then see if that will get it to work. Another small amount. Okay, we're almost done. Stay, please. Okay, there we go. Alright. Blob on there, that's way too much. Stay on there. I don't think this one's gonna stay. Shoot. Oops. Come on. Turn a blob. I think I need a small tool that's not coated with the stuff because it's sticking to it. Okay, let me try and wipe the tip of this off. Let's see if that will help. Kind of. Okay. Come on, go back on there. Dang it. These super tiny ones, I might have to just leave a big blob there and then let the thing squish it down because it keeps wanting to move. It won't stay put. Stay, please. Okay, we just need a tiny bit more on that other one, and then we can go ahead, remove the protective layers on the PTM7950 and get this stuff all into place. Okay, I think we got this. I think we're good. All right, so we'll go ahead and take out the other gunk, and we should be good to go. All right, I think we're good. Close this up. Put this stuff away. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I think I got everything. Okay. I think we got everything. I don't think I missed anything. Okay, I think we got everything. Let's go ahead. We'll zoom out here. Alright, so here we go. This is what we got. Got everything coated with the PTM7950 and the thermal Grizzly Putty. Go ahead and box this back up. Okay. Let me double check one more time. Looks good. Okay. Alright, hopefully there's nothing that I was supposed to put it on that I didn't put it on. Let me actually double check. I'm going to watch my video one time and we'll see. Alright, looks like I got everything covered. So let's go ahead and put the heatsink back on and then reassemble this thing, okay? So, that was a huge pain. Alright, but anyways, let's go ahead now and get this back together. So, of course, make sure that you peel off these things. Again, I mark it so that way I can make sure that I peel them off. Okay, so we'll go ahead and peel that off. That one and this one. Okay, and next we just got to put back the heatsink. Okay, cleaned it all up. Looks good. All right, let's go ahead and get this back down on top. So line it up. I guess we can use the hole in the number 7 to kind of help line it up, but you can kind of go from lining it up here, okay, since it has the heatsink that will help line up everything. And then we will lower it down, swing it, make sure the 6 lines up because that's one of the easiest ones, and the 7. Okay, and what I'll do is I always twist the screw backwards to make sure it's in place first. So we got this, you can hear it clicking. Okay, I'm just gonna put that one screw in, but only one twist. We'll go with number 1 here. You hear it click, okay? So I twist it until it clicks, and then I go 1, 2, 3. We'll go to number 2, same thing. Hear it click, 1, 2, 3. Go to number 3, again, hear it click, 1, 2, 3. Go to number 4, hear it click, 1, 2, 3. Number 5, hear it click, 1, 2, 3. Number 6, hear it click, 1, 2, 3. Number 7, click, 1, 2, 3. And then we'll go again, 1, 2, 3. This one actually tightens all the way. Okay, so these don't need too many twists to tighten all the way, it seems. Alright, number 4. The customer didn't bring me their charger, so hopefully it has enough charge for me to test this out. If not, then I don't know. We'll have to wait until they come back with their charger. So we'll see. But anyways, this was just a video on how to replace the thermal pads, thermal paste, thermal grease, whatever you want to call it. Alright. So it's not a video of does it turn on after I work on it. Although it better turn on after I work on it. Alright. So anyways, you can kind of look in the gap there to see where the putty paste is, and it looks good. It looks like it oozed over the edges, so we should be good. Other than that, I can't really see. Okay, this oozed over a lot over the edge, so you can see we actually put a lot more than needed. Okay, so I'm gonna actually see if I can get that extra stuff out, because I don't want that just sitting, especially it's gonna be sitting along the fan. So let's see if I can scrape that out. Okay, we're gonna just use this, and we're gonna get in there, and I'm gonna scrape the excess if I can. Is this a necessary step? No, it's not. I've had someone ask me that before, but I don't like leaving all this. You see all this excess that just oozed out? Okay, it won't hurt anything to leave it in there. This is it's non-conductive. It's not gonna affect anything. But again, I don't like just leaving all that excess in there, just sitting, possibly rolling around, getting dirt and dust stuck to it. Okay, so we're just gonna clean that out. There we go. Okay, and we don't really have access to the rest because of the way this thing is designed, so I can't really get in there to scrape out all the excess on the other areas. So hopefully that should be okay. Okay, you can actually also see in this corner here the excess that squeezed out. So we had more than enough, good amount. Okay, I mean, by original design, they put it and then it oozes out. That's just how it is, because it's really hard to get the exact amount just to get it to squeeze just barely. So that's good. All right. Anyways, we got all of that in. Let's go ahead and get the fans back in. So we do need to, I guess, pull this back out so that we can get this underneath the fan. Okay, so fan goes back in under here. Okay, make sure we're gonna have to lift this back up, make sure it lines up. Looks good. Okay, it's a little bit not, there we go. Okay, make sure it hooks in right. Okay, we'll do the other side as well. Okay, very simple, straightforward. Just get it under there, lift this slightly, make sure the screw mounts line up. Okay, and there we go, looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and start getting the screws back in. The fan has 3 screws. I always like to loosely fit the screw before I tighten it all the way down. Once I get all of the screws that are for that part that can move around. Okay, then I like to kind of pull the fan up against the heatsink. Not that it will matter too much, it has the foam there to help guide the air. And then we'll go ahead and tighten these screws down. Okay, and the last one here. Alright, same thing with the other fan. Again, loosely fit that. Alright, then we'll hold this again, pull it against the heatsink. Tighten these screws down. They put all these foam pads here to help guide the air, to try and prevent the hot air from just going back into the computer. Okay, if you're wondering what all these foam pads are for. If you tear these, then the cooling is going to be a lot less effective, so keep that in mind, okay? I mean, even with the new thermal paste and pads, it's going to be better, but you will lose some of that cooling efficiency if you break those. Okay, here's the fan plug cable connector. Make sure you have it the way with the dot face up. You don't want to put it upside down like that, okay? So make sure this side is face up, and then I just pinch the 2 connectors together. Same thing with the other side here. If I can move the computer over that far. Nope. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. All right, we got this here. Same thing. Line it up. Make sure that connector's up with the blue painted. Don't put it upside down that way, okay? So get that. Line it up. Okay, it should go in slightly, and then there's no room because the SSD is in the way, so I'm just going to push this. Okay, don't push too hard. You don't want to break the connector off the board. We'll zoom out. Let's go ahead and get the wireless antenna wires and everything back into place. So it goes around, goes under here. Okay, then over this screw mount, then under here. Okay, a little bit tricky. Come on, get back under. There we go. Then under this one. Okay, tuck it under, then over the screw mount, and then under this again. There we go. And now we just get this back in. It goes at an angle. And push that all the way. Make sure it goes all the way. Oh, one of the antennas popped out. We'll fix that after. So let's go ahead and line this up. Make sure that the raised portion of the screw thing is not underneath the thing. So if it's not lined up right, this should come up to be flush here. If you have it pulled slightly back and this the screw ring thing is underneath and you go to screw this in, you can damage the wireless card because it will pinch on top. You can see how right now it's sideways, it's underneath. If you screw it in now, you can crush this. So make sure you line it up. Get that screw in. Good. And then we gotta worry about these antennas. Okay, so does it pull slightly further back because this is, the antennas are having extra wire more than I remember it having. So let's go ahead and pull the antenna wires out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the antenna connectors back in first, and then we'll worry about the other things. So let's go ahead and get the antenna in. The way you get it in is you wiggle it around on top. Once it catches, you can click it down, okay? Same thing over here. Wiggle it around, and then it catches, and then click it down. Okay, oh, why is it coming up? Back up. Click it in. Okay, click it in, good. Alright, so we have these wires. Now that I have this already in place, it's easier to make sure that it goes in a way that it's not going to push these wires out. So get those under there. There we go. And then we'll do the rest. Let's zoom out here again. Okay, so got that under, over the screw, under this hook. Okay, under this hook, over the screw. And there's all this excess. I don't remember it having all this excess. But anyways, under that hook. And then the last one under that hook. So maybe it was just all out here and I didn't notice it. Because I don't think it can have all the wire all the way out here. That's going to make it weird. Okay, anyways, there we go. Okay, I guess it goes where the audio cable is. Anyways, we'll zoom out now. Let's go ahead and put that plastic film back on, and then we'll get the battery reconnected, and that's pretty much it. So this plastic film, oops. Okay, it went like this. So basically just line up the screw holes here. Okay, then line up this little thing hole, whatever this rubber foam pad is. Okay, go across. Okay, actually let's go ahead and plug the battery because it's going to be underneath that film. So battery connector, just line it up, push it down, and then while you're holding it down, slide that metal latch back on top. Alright, we'll zoom back out. Then we just guide all of this stuff here, line up the screw hole over on this side. Okay, and then stick it down. This has all the things that kind of help guide it. There we go. All right, there we go. Not too bad. The most difficult part is all the thermal paste, or putty, sorry. All right, so this looks good. We're just gonna get this line back up. Click all this back into place. Okay, go down the sides. I like to push inwards as I push down, so I'm kind of like going in like this. That helps the clips go into place. work our way all around. There we go. All right, and then we'll just get these screws back in, the T6 screws. And that's pretty much all there is to it. We'll boot it up. Pretty sure the battery acts as the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery as well. Keep that in mind. So when you go to power it on, if it's taking a long time and the screen's staying black, that's normal. So just give it some time and it should come up. Okay, I don't think I disconnected anything else, but just to be safe, I'm just going to put the back 4 screws first, then power it up and see what we got. All right. Again, I don't even know if the battery's charged on here, so hopefully it will just have enough battery to power up. Also, sometimes the computers require you to plug them in before they will power up, so hopefully this isn't one of those. Okay. All right, we got those back screws in. We'll flip this over and we'll go ahead and power this up, assuming it has battery life. No, does it not have battery life? Nope. Okay, and it uses a special charger, so I have no way to turn this on. I'm gonna have to ask the customer to bring their charger, and then I'll test it with them, but I won't be able to have that in the video. Just trust me, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If you want, I will post a comment just to say whether it worked or not. Or if they stay long enough, I guess I can record it, but we'll see. All right, so that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, again, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Again, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. Again, has all my review videos on it. They're currently on this channel as well. Eventually, I'm only going to have them on that channel, at least the new ones anyways. I'm not going to delete the ones that are currently on here. So yeah, if you'd like to support my channel, or you just like watching those review videos, it would be very helpful if you subscribe there as well. Not really much else to say there. Thanks for watching again. Again, if my customer lets me record while they're here with it plugged in, then we will go ahead and make a update or add that on here, and you'll see whether it's working or not. So there you go. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you on the next one. Strap this. Bye.